It is happening right now. We've got over 2,500 insurance brokers around the UK. We've got 24-hour helplines. We're pulling out all the stops to do everything we can to help people.
What do people need to do if they think they have a claim? Presumably speed is of the essence.
Absolutely. Contact your insurance broker, your insurance company immediately. Don't delay. Get that claim in, and then they can start helping you, putting emergency repairs into place.
Now, we talked about what is covered. There are some exceptions. Take us through some of those.
Well, if you're third-party only, for example, you're not covered for the damage to your car or fire or theft either, so you need to be comprehensive on your motor insurance. We're also seeing many people use price comparison sites, which always have the cheapest quote, take a big voluntary excess. So of course, they can have an excess which they will have to pay in those
circumstances. So by getting a smaller premium, you might have volunteered for a bigger excess, so people will get hit in the pocket to that tune.
Potentially.
And what about, and there are some things, if you're on holiday, there are some exceptions on travel insurance as well.
Yeah, well, if you're on holiday, if you decide to come home early because you understand your property might have been damaged, that's your decision and it's not going to probably be insured. However, if you get the police call you and say, look, your property is being ransacked, it's been burgled, we want you to come back, then that probably would be insured. So speak to your insurance provider, that's quite complicated.
Now, let's talk about this issue about getting a compensation even if you haven't got insurance through a very old piece of legislation. Tell us about that.
Well, you've got the Public Order Act and the Riot Damages Act of 1886, and basically you would be entitled to approach the relevant police authority for compensation if your property has been damaged. So you have to establish there's been a riot, you were damaged, and that's something that potentially the uninsured people could try to do. If you have insurance, then obviously go through the insurance channels.
But this is interesting because a lot of people are saying that, so what you're saying is if there is a riot and the police could have prevented it, should have prevented it, then you might be able to make a claim against them.
Quite possibly. You have to prove that it is a riot, and that's quite complicated legally. You've got to prove there's 12 or more people, they've got a common purpose.
Are these riots?
Well, I think many people are calling them riots. We haven't seen the Prime Minister call them specifically a riot, but I think the insurance industry are treating them as riots. OK, and so this could be, I mean, presumably this could be quite an important point of law, that if these are classed as riots, then the police could have claims against them for people's damages. Well, we're seeing the insurance costs of probably over £100 million, so there's a lot of money at stake, and it's an important discussion to have, yes.
All right, well, fascinating stuff. When is a riot not a riot? Well, you've got a definition, 12 or more persons?
Yes, with a common purpose, using threatening behaviour to a person of reasonable firmness. So it is quite a complicated explanation, but it's something that everyone has to look at very carefully.